Well, you know him as a Texas Ranger. You know him as a martial arts master. You know him as a man who frees American POWs from the holes of the nasty communists. But these days, Chuck Norris is playing another role, political activist.
Chuck Norris hit the 2008 presidential campaign trail earlier this year, where he threw his support behind GOP presidential hopeful Mike Huckabee.
My plan to secure the border, 2 words: Chuck Norris.
Crisscrossing the country in what came to be known as the Huck and Chuck Tour. After Huckabee bowed out of the race, Norris continued to speak out about the most pressing issues facing America. In his book, Black Belt Patriotism: How to Reawaken America, Norris argues that America needs to return to its Christian roots, secure its borders, and regain its fiscal sanity.
Well, Chuck Norris and his lovely wife, Gina, join us now by satellite from Texas. Man, it's good to have you folks with us.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Good morning.
Yeah, I want to ask you guys something. I bought one of those Total Gyms on the basis of your endorsement. Do you really use them, honest to goodness?
All the time.
Every morning.
No
oh,
food.
yeah, I've been using it for 32 years.
Okay, well, it keeps you fit. I understand that all that kickboxing led to something with your hip. You had a hip replacement a couple of years ago, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. From all those almost 50 years of kicking, and plus all my stunts. I had a lot of hip injuries doing my stunts and over the years. So it was a combination of the stunts I've been doing for years, plus all the kicking I've done for all these years. And so anyway, I had to put a new hip in.
Well, you're doing fine with it, though, aren't you?
Oh yeah, it's as good as the or better than the old one.
What do you guys see about America? I know you've written a book called Black Belt Patriotism. What do you see is going on with the direction of this country?
Well, I just think we're heading down the wrong direction. We need to restore patriotism as the founders meant it to be. I think we need to restore our sense of civility, morality, and responsibility. And I think we've drifted from that, and we just need to get back on the right track as our founding fathers. I do a lot of reading about our founding fathers and on history, and they had a vision for our America that was not corrupted by greed and power. And I think, unfortunately, many of our politicians have fallen into that trap of excessive greed and excessive power, and we need to turn that around. We, the people, have got to get control back of our country.
How's that going to be done? What do you think we need to do?
Well, first thing I think we need to do is, Mike Huckabee says, I think that we need to get a fair tax, a consumption tax going in our country where the people get 100% of their money. And the thing is, there's $13 trillion in offshore accounts where the super rich are hiding their money. If we could bring that $13 trillion back into our economy, it would give our country a huge boost. And the 3 million manufacturing jobs that are being outsourced to other countries because of the heavy taxation in our country, we could bring that all back, and that would give our country a huge boost. And so I really believe that what we need to do is get a fair tax going and let the people be responsible for their own money, not let government, because they're very irresponsible with our money.
There's no question about it. Gina, you've got a couple of children. What do you see down the road as far as education? Are you sending them to public schools, private schools? What are you doing with them?
No, actually, we're homeschooling Dakota and Danny Lee, and it's going really, really well. Our older daughter is a teacher, so we're really blessed to be able to do that. But we are concerned about the youth of today and the culture war that they're facing, and we believe that they need to be equipped. They're just barraged with all of this negative influence, and they need to be told the truth. And this book that my husband's written, we hope will encourage them and equip them with the truth and the courage that they're going to need to stand up and fight this culture war. It's serious today, and it's not getting any better. The funny thing is, and I think that you probably know this, there's these Chuck Norris facts out, so it's really reconnected my husband with the youth today. It's all part of God's plan, and it's really exciting just to see him be able to have a platform to speak into their life.
Well, I have kind of a joke. I have kind of a joke there. One of the Chuck Norris facts is that America's not a democracy, it's a Chuck-tatorship. And I said, now, if that was true, I would go to Washington and I'd line up every member of Washington And then I'd have Ron Paul, who I believe is one of the more honest politicians back there. And I'd say, Ron, point out the honest politicians and the dishonest ones. And we'd go down the line. He'd say, he's honest, he's corrupted. I'd walk up to him, I'd say, you're fired. And if he didn't move immediately, I would choke him unconscious and lay him and roll him over to the side there. The millennials love this.
I thought you were going to have a firing squad or something. Listen, Huckabee was talking about the borders. You're really concerned about illegal immigration. Tell us about it.
Well, I believe that there is a solution to illegal immigration. I believe the first thing we need to do, of course, is secure our borders. We can spend $85 billion trying to bail out AIG, but we can't spend $2 billion to secure our borders. It's ludicrous. It's crazy. And then once we secure our borders, then what we can do is find the people who are reputable, you know, because there's over 12 million illegal immigrants here, not counting their children. So let's find the ones that are reputable, ones who are making a good living here, or who are trying to make a good living and have their children here. And let's give them a temporary worker's permit so they can stay and work towards citizenship. And then all the others, make them fugitives, where they are actually going against the law by being here, and track them down. And if they are just illegals with no crime or criminal record, send them back home. If they are criminals, put them, incarcerate them. And this way we can get this thing stabilized in our country today.
They call it tough love. And ladies and gentlemen, the book is Black
Love.
Belt Patriotism. And Chuck, I might add, your program a few years ago was an absolute dog, and you took over that show, Walker, Texas Ranger, and made it into a smash hit. What'd you do? Are you producing that, or did you produce it?
Yes, I turned it into a family-oriented show. I had it where there was enough action where a dad would sit down and watch it, but not to the point where the kids couldn't sit down and watch it. And the relationships Walker had with C.D. Parker and Alex Cahill. And you know what, I did a lot of, my highest rated show was a Christian show. I wanted to do a faith-based episode, which I got a little flack from CBS in the beginning, but I did it, and it was the first time I became a top 10 show.
Well, you know, I saw a rerun last night of the black church and a little black girl and a choir singing about Jesus. Is that the one you're talking about?
Oh, yeah, The Neighborhood. That was wonderful. That was my first top 10 show. And then I even did one about Jesus in the show. And, which I got a lot of flack from, but it became the highest rated show of the year. I won the Epiphany Award for the best Christian programming of the year. And so after that, CBS left me alone and let me do whatever I wanted to do. So I wound up doing about 12 different faith-based shows on Walker.
Well, you were terrific, and I appreciate you and Gina. And keep working the Total Gym, and I will be on mine, and I'll think of you every time I get on that thing.
All right, I'm gonna keep up on you with that. I'm gonna make sure you're still working out on that thing.
Merry Christmas, you guys.
Merry Christmas to both of you. God bless you. Chuck and Gina Norris, thank you. Black Belt Patriotism is the book published by Regnery Press. It's available where books are sold. Great guy.
Great couple.
What he did with that show, it was a disaster, and he took it over and made it into this wonderful program.
But you wish the networks would get the picture in that, don't you? The success of that tells a story about what America wants.
Absolutely.